Hey guys, I'm not doing too good. Um, so I was going to make a video like my last video, where I just did a cluster frick of little short reviews and tell you like the bare minimum about the things that I got for Christmas at my actual Christmas thing that we had at my granny's. Yeah, I ended up getting the details wrong. We didn't go to my aunt's house, we went to my granny's house. But I was going to um, do another video like my last video and tell you about all this stuff I got. But I think I'm just going to do like little reviews here and there. So I can make full-length videos about one item, and that'll be better content. Because I just need this video to say some things. I'm not in a good state. I just found out my friend of 10 or more years has blocked me. And there's a lot of people that she knows that I'm not really friends with. There's a lot of people she knows that I don't really know at all. So I don't know who to ask about why she has done this. And I don't have another way to contact her. Her phone number hasn't been very reliable or stable, I should say, because at one time there was like 3 different numbers, and I was not sure which one was hers. It turned out one was hers, one was her friend's, and one was her mom's. But I don't think the one that was hers is still hers, because reasons. But so yeah, basically, I don't have a way to contact her. And I don't know what's happening. She's one of my best friends. She is the person. The one person in my life who's done the most for me. Aside from my fiance. Ashley's done a lot for me. She picked me up when I was in a very dark spot. She got me out of a abusive relationship with my roommate now 3 years ago. If it wasn't for Ashley, I wouldn't be where I am today. I wouldn't have made it this long. When I came back to Kentucky, when I left Ohio behind, left my roommate behind, I was so thin. I had lost so much weight that at first glance, my mom didn't recognize me. And when she did, she cried. what happened was, okay, there's gonna have to be some backstory for what happened. When I was in middle school, I was put on vitamin D supplements because of a hunch that something was developing and that I might need them later on. So these were just enough to make sure my levels were stable. And I stayed on that dosage until, like, now. I take that dosage now. Except for one occasion when I came back from Ohio. I'd like to say that it was the loss of all the weight and my other symptoms that I was feeling, dizziness, poor balance, horrible memory, gaps in my memory. I'd like to say it was all that brought me to understanding what happened, but it wasn't. All of that was overlooked for a while after I came back home. And then we had a routine blood test. And we tested for vitamin D to see what my levels were. They had to do the test twice, because when they did it the first time, they didn't detect any vitamin D. A healthy amount, or level, is 4,000 IUs. I had 3. Not 3,000. 3. People still tell me that's the lowest. Like, doctors, nurses still tell me that's the lowest they've ever seen it. And it's been 3 years now. We tell more people and we get the same reaction. They told me at any time I could have had a heart attack. They put me on copious amounts of supplements for weeks. So I got better. I still have gaps in my memory. There's things I'll probably never remember. And every now and then, I have these moments where I'm just really slow. Like it's like I can't finish my sentences. I just get really dull. And I don't know, that's probably a side effect. I'll probably have to live with that. It only happens like maybe once every other month. So, it's okay. I'm okay now. I'm still here, and that's because of Ashley. She got me out of that situation. Why did my vitamin D get that low in the first place? Because when I went to Ohio, I didn't take my supplements with me. I should point out that when I was given my supplements, I didn't really know why. They just said that well, I might need them someday. Something looked suspicious, and I didn't really understand. I mean, why would I? Why would I ever expect to be, I don't want to say dependent. I don't want to say that, but those were just the worst kind of scenarios. I mean, I was a zombie. I was only in Ohio for like 2 months. And I was a mess for a long time. But I'm back. I'm okay. And there's only one reason, and that's Ashley. So, I mean, if I didn't go to Michigan with her, I wouldn't have gotten basically accused of accused of lying to Ashley about everything. Oh well, maybe he's never been serious with you. Maybe, he's saying all these things to you. This is what her therapists, all of her therapists were saying about me. And they're like, maybe he's never been truthful with you. And her legal guardian just kind of sided with the therapists and took me to the police station, and I called my mom, and she brought me back to Kentucky. So, if it wasn't for Ashley, I wouldn't have gone to Michigan, and I wouldn't have gone to the police station. I basically got escorted, and then Mom brought me home. Because I called her, and, I mean, what else was I gonna do? I was stranded. So, 2 reasons I'm here and I'm okay is Ashley and my mom. So, thank you. I really owe them a debt, and that's all there is to it. I owe them a lot. And this friend that I mentioned at the beginning, it's coming full circle now. When I was in high school, there was a lot I was going through. I was bullied. There was a few things that my high school was just dealing in, and we're talking students and teachers. Bullying, sexism, homophobia. It wasn't a good environment. But I wasn't getting help. People wanted to point fingers. And me being someone razzled out of my mind back then because I had IBS. And what was the term they used? An infection in my colon. but they called it something. Cola something or another. Anyways, an infection, colitis. I had colitis, and it was screwing me up in high school. And so basically I was going through very similar symptoms, oddly enough. Crappy memory, everything's in a daze, bad balance. I was a zombie because I was basically really dehydrated all the time because my intake didn't matter because of the colitis. So, I tried to get help for my situation. That didn't really work. I tried to retaliate against the people that were just trying to do things to me. That really didn't work out in my favor because everyone just wanted to point fingers and hey, I was doing things. They said something to me. Well, they always say things like that. They get a pass for that. I said something that was not characteristic of me. I'm supposed to be like this chill guy that doesn't say anything. The second I retaliate, everyone pointed fingers at me. They tried to get me expelled at one point because there was this guy that it was in art class, and this guy took my art project. It was a clay thing. I think I was making a fountain, and he took my project over to the extra clay that was unused, and he just put it back in there and just ruined everything. And, I went up to the clay. I tried to salvage whatever I could. The teacher cut me off, and I was trying to explain myself, and she was telling me to go back to my seat. I couldn't get a single word in, and I stomped my foot and tried to be aggressive. And, she was a midget. She was like 4 foot nothing, and I was one of the tallest people in my class, in most my classes. So, me and this teacher go to the principal's office, and she's like trying to get me expelled. And she's like explaining all this stuff, and I try to be like, okay, I don't remember that. I remember you not letting me speak. And I tried to take it from there, and they weren't really listening. It took me telling my part to my mom, and then my mom getting back to the school to keep me from getting expelled. So, yeah. Everything was like on the line until I got home. So, no one trusted me, ever, in high school. All of my friends that I made were fake, and I realized that the second I graduated, because no one kept in touch. No one reached out after high school. I tried to reach out to some people, and they blocked me. And I was like, what just happened? I had no reason. I couldn't find any reason. I still can't. So, I was suicidal from all the drama. There's a bug. I attempted suicide a few different times. I cut myself, and no one knew. I didn't tell anybody, and no one found out. So, yeah, that was basically my last 3 years of high school. I was self-harming. But it was that friend that I mentioned at the beginning of the video, this video, that got me through enough. She was there for me when no one else was, through my low points, and we had high points. I had high points with her. I had high points because of her. If it wasn't for her, I really wouldn't have made it this far. Ashley affected things in my 20s. And this friend affected things in my teen years. Kept me going, kept me here. Because that wasn't set in stone. I was not okay. And I love Ashley with all my heart. More than I think I could have loved in the past. I mean, I've had a lot of girlfriends. But it doesn't compare. You know, she continues to do things for me. She goes out of her way to do things, and if I was 19, I would say I didn't deserve her. But that's just silly to say now. I need her. And I love her more than anything now. And that's really just, I don't know how to feel about that. Because for a while I didn't know if I was feeling love the same way other people were. Because when I was 6 years old, I was diagnosed with Asperger's. And people don't diagnose people with Asperger's anymore. They just say, you're autistic. So yeah. Me and my mom had a talk about it a few months ago. And this was before I learned that Asperger's was autism. I knew they were similar, but not the same thing. She said that Asperger's was on the autism spectrum, and I said, well, it's like watered down autism, because I am very much like someone without autism. A lot of people that I tell say that they never would have known, because they know the real me, and they know that I'm a very vocal and active mentally person. I have an active imagination. I can't stop myself from creating. I try to write stories, but it doesn't really work out. It gets me so far. But they see the potential in me. They see that I'm a nerd, and people that know me, they see all that stuff. And when I tell them now that I have autism, they would say they never would have known. I told one of my ex-girlfriends a few months ago, and she said she knew I was a little bit slow, but she wouldn't have guessed that, or that was why. But it was a good talk. She doesn't talk to me anymore. I mean, I thought everything was okay. And that's another one. I thought everything was fine, and then she just blocked me. But I can let that go, because me and her, we had a messy breakup, and we've not been the same since. But this friend that I keep mentioning, well, I guess the last few talks we had were not pretty. But, I mean, it was a misunderstanding on my part, and I was really hoping she would forgive me for that. I was hoping that I'd be okay. I'm not okay right now. I'm just looking back at all the everything, really. And it's just messing with me. This video is getting way too long, so I'm gonna stop being being lost in my mind, basically. And I'll see you tomorrow with that comic review that I promised last video. Peace.